See, the thing is, if the sheriff looks at me and say, "Turn around, you're under arrest," I would say, "Okay, officer, say it again." Hey everyone, I'm Sidhart Joe Dev, and this is what I think of Sheriff Narco Integrity. Sheriff is a Malay language Malaysian cop drama directed by Shafiq Yusof and produced by Scope Productions and Astro Shaw, starring Zul Arifin, Shafiqal, Aaron Aziz, Azira Shafinas, and Elizabeth Tan in leading roles. Nazri, played by Shafiqal, is a cop in the narcotics department. He noticed Tony Ifrit, played by Dato' Aaron Aziz, who is a drug lord, is getting out of control. Every time Tony is accused of something in the court of law, he somehow escapes the trial. Suddenly enters Sheriff, played by Zul Arifin, a DSP from the integrity department. He is on a mission to solve the meth killer case, to find out who the meth killer is and why he's doing whatever he's doing. Now, the rest of the film is Zul Arifin chasing Shafiqal, chasing Aaron Aziz. Like many of you, I also went in a bit apprehensive about this film. I mean, if they're making a cop action drama, sure, it's going to be like propaganda film, like all policemen are good and stuff like that, because, you know, our country. But this film is quite the contrary. Sharif, written by Yusuf Haslam, Nazifuddin Nasruddin and Shafiq Yusof, shows the police in bad light as well as the good light. You know, the bad ones are not borderline bad, they are properly corrupted. I'm just super glad how far we've come to putting reality on cinema. Otherwise, you know, we are not allowed to do this kind of films, right? The success of any cop drama lies in the writing. You can have great stunts, VFX and actors, but bad script equal to bad drama. KL War on Terror Anarchy. But Sheriff is good. It's great writing. What makes this whole film script interesting is that the layers they introduce in writing. It's not linear. It takes multiple turns, twists, goes back and forth. Like good action thriller, it doesn't let you sit in peace. With Sheriff, you're constantly at the edge of your seat thinking, shit, what's next? Oh no, this is happening. No. That's how good the writing is, actually. However good, the script does have its own flaws. You know why? It's half-baked when it comes to character development. See, most of the characters in Sheriff have some sort of backstory, but the makers didn't go deep into it. And that is fine. It's okay if you choose not to go into it. But you cannot do half work. Like, for an example, Zul Arifin's actual father. Who is he? What's that story? And the one who adopted him. What is that story? We know nothing about that. And we want to. Okay, you want to keep that story for sequel? Fine. Then what about Elizabeth Tan's character? Her son. What is that backstory? What is Jennifer's connection to Tony Ifrit prior to whatever's happening in this movie? Now that is a question mark. Or even important than that, Nazri and Firdaus. Who is this ex-army who joined hands with this narcotic cops? There is a dialogue where Shafiq says things like "Perjuangan kita" or something like that, which means they have a larger mission and Shafiq is not alone. But then you didn't really explain who is Firdaus in the story and what does he have to do and why he does whatever he does. We have no idea. When you watch Sheriff for the first time, you might not ask this question because the film is fast-paced and leaves no room for you to think. But when you try to make sense of things, these are the loopholes that you actually notice in the film. But you know what makes me really happy? The dialogues are very well written. And let me tell you something. I'm so bloody happy for this film. The drug lords and pushers don't talk like, "Lu suruh lu punya budak pijak sama gua sekarang. Lu anjing." They don't talk like that. You know, they don't talk like they're typewritten. The dialogues are very seamless. Sangat KL, gua suka. Because you don't cringe. Even for the police force, the dialogues are straight and simple. They don't talk like in long, heavy sentences. Overall, what kept Sheriff alive is a screenplay. You know, there are scenes where you get goosebumps and there are scenes that makes you uncomfortable to a large extent. But more than anything, for me, this film also sort of put a thought in your head about what police officers go through when they experience traumatic incidents like PTSD in their life. Now imagine how heartbroken we all will be if our favorite colleague in the office decides to quit their job. Now imagine those colleague of yours dies while you're working, when you're at job, plus a merciless death. How would that affect you? That's what some officers go through in their lives. God bless them. Shafiq Yusof, the captain of the ship here, made all the right choices that shaped the film so well. The direction of the film is so good that amid all the intense investigations and the thrilling chase to catch criminals, the dynamic between the characters is so well directed. No single character in this film is bigger than the other. I'm actually very surprised how well balanced the screen time was for each of the cast member to tell their story. You would expect Zul Arifin, Shafiqal and Aaron Aziz to be the leading, to be leading the storytelling, but then you also have Elizabeth Tan, who's been given equal amount of work to do in this film, and Azira Shafinas holding equal amount of power. But more than anything, I would applaud Shafiq Yusof for some of his directorial choices. For an example, I was so tired of makers wanting female characters in their action film, and not giving them enough. In Sheriff, Shafiq makes these two female cops, Elizabeth Tan and Shafinas, pick up the gun, chase the bad guys, take them down like the badass they are. Oh, there is nothing sexier than women knowing their shit when it comes to action and getting to work. Shafiq Yusof also makes some smart choices with how he ties the twist which is not one or which is multiple twists that you don't see coming. He keeps his audience in suspense mode for a very long time and keeps viewers, audience at the edge of their seat, like constantly what's going to happen next. The scene where Zul Arifin chasing Firdaus on a motorbike, Shafiq Kyle does cross interrogation while being watched by other colleagues, and the very final scene when Zul Arifin and Shafina shows up at the High Court. Oof, so good. I'm happy the film didn't end on a false patriotic act where the police force are lined up and they're singing a song or listening a speech from their head or whatever, but it ended with another mission showing that there is always someone on a higher level who is corrupted and that person needs to be hunted down. Great directorial choices, Shafiq Yusof. Now the actors. Sharif, like I said, is an ensemble cast film. Playing Sharif is Zul Arifin, who is born to play characters like this. In his introduction scene, Zul is seen walking in slow motion and all that. He doesn't even try to convince you. He is Sharif. But my favorite thing is his portrayal is this tough guy that injects maximum humor throughout the film. His lines, his delivery are simple but effective. You're scared of what he can do, but he looks funny. But he is funny and he is instantly likable. That's the best part of his character. Next, you have Dato' Aziz, who is this drug lord Tony Ifrit. I don't have to tell you what Aziz is capable of when it comes to this kind of genre. He is scary. I would be scared to meet him in real life. He's very effortless, he fights effortlessly, and he kills effortlessly. Makes the characters 10 times better. However, my favorite portrayal in Sharif is of course Shafiq Kyle. Shafiq Kyle is a bloody good actor, probably his career's best performance so far. He's vulnerable and he's actually a very good-hearted guy, but he pretends to be this bad guy, like nothing affects him. There's a scene where Zul Arifin will show him some video and the way he pretends like it doesn't affect him, oh, that's beautiful. His final scene with Aziz, with the stunts and the way he screams and cries, it's so heartbreaking and actually very, very powerful. Moving on, we also have Azura Shafinas, who is perfect addition to this cast. In the first half, though, she doesn't have much to do, but in the second half, she comes back stronger. The last 15-20 minutes of the film is where she kills it. The scenes where she's fighting with the bad guy, the guns and shit. Oh, something was happening to me. Then you also have Elizabeth Tan, who is honestly a surprise addition to me. I honestly thought she was going to be a diversity casting, and that's about it, but who would have thought? Who would have thought? Thought what? Go and watch the film. You also have other supporting characters like Amir Nafis, Kodi Rashid, Shaharuddin Thambi, Esma Daniel, Kamal Afandi, Tamil Selvan, who everybody does a good job. Really love their performances. And the cinematography is beautiful. Every frame is beautiful. A lot of scenes are shot at wide angles, and these lines and the proportions and all the attention to detail, they are spot on. My only problem with the cinematography is the color grading sometimes gets a bit inconsistent. Like in the same scene, wide shot is good, but then when it comes to close-up, it's a bit too green, it's a bit too warm. The color grading, it's a bit too dark, it's a bit too bright. That's not a major issue, but here and there, it's a bit inconsistent when it comes to color, I feel. When it comes to set design, everything looks pretty, beautiful, but it's also a bit made up. They're all new, fresh, and they all look very clean. I would have preferred to see Tony Ifrit's office or Dan, wherever he is, a little more chaotic, but it's all pretty. For example, Extra Originals ID, Pati Shanti's office, it's designed to look very real. The characters, everything look real. So here it's a bit made up. I feel like a bit of chaos would have added authenticity to the story. Take the set design of Jin Ong's Abang Ade, for example. The DOP has done a great job in capturing all the chasing scenes. The chasing scenes give me anxiety because I was like, oh no, and they're framed it in a way that you don't see what's happening next. That's the best part. But my biggest complaint is, who the fuck did makeup for Shafiq Kyle? It's not bad. It's a hate crime. It's a crime and I hate it. How can you make a good looking man look fake? His foundation, the shade is too dark, it's too cakey, his lipstick is too pink, he looks brown, he looks fake. And the best part is, there are multiple close-up shots of Shafiq Kyle. The makeup spoiled everything. Other than that, Sharif is good everywhere else. So on a scale of 1 to 10, Sharif is, look, I'm a simple guy. If a film entertains me, I will give you 10 over 10. You don't need to make Christopher Nolan kind of cinema. Just make sure that 1-2 hours I sit in cinema hall are worthy enough. In that sense, Sharif did that and a lot more. Running now very successfully in all theaters near you. See you at the movies. Thank you for watching the video. If you would like to watch more reviews and podcasts and a lot more fun stuff, we are KAYPOH on all platforms. KAYPOH!